This is How to Clinical Research, and I'm Eric Lambert. I got a video request, as you can see down here, by Jerry Shin. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But he's asking for a more in-depth approach into the salaries of CRAs in both the CRO level as well as the sponsor level. So we're going to go into that today, and I just wanted to show you guys that I do answer your requests. So feel free to leave comments, subscribe, hit the bell button, like the video, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys with your requests. So let's get into it. I did this over the entire country. Just so we can have a good understanding of the pay, since it does vary state by state and, of course, even city by city. But this should give you a good understanding of generally what a CRA pays. So you can see here that the pay ranges from around $45,000 to $95,000 annually. The average is sitting around $70,000. And if you look down here, this is also additional compensation that you could sometimes expect with this role. So 33% of respondents here are showing that they received an annual bonus of some sort with a median amount of $3,000 per year. And of course, that ranges, as you can see here, 1 to 10,000. Sometimes 5% of people here are saying that they are receiving a sign-on bonus. This is less common nowadays. If you get that, that's really, really good. I've seen one recent job offer where they mentioned a signing bonus, but most companies have stopped doing that for some time now. But if you do see that, that's definitely something that you want to get if possible. And then stock options here, 7% of respondents are saying that they receive stock options, which equals about $2,000 per year as a median amount. Stock options are not, again, too common. I would say the annual bonus is much more common, and this is something that you should definitely ask for. Now, if we take a look over here, it shows some companies with different salaries. So Syneos, Parexel, PPD, PRA, Covance, these are all CROs, from my understanding at least. You'll see here 85,500, 81,000, 78,000, 78, 77,000 per year. These CROs typically, I would say, sometimes pay more than the sponsor, but we'll take a look at some of these sponsor pays as well. But keep in mind, though, that CROs work you like an animal. Okay, they really are all about billable hours, and they want to make sure that you are essentially billable all the time. They are very money driven. And it makes, I think, I have never worked for a CRO, so I can only say, I'm speaking from what I've heard at least, and comments that I've read online of some people that have worked at these companies. But typically CROs, I think, are known for working their employees very hard. So keep that in mind when you're checking CRO pay and when comparing it to maybe sponsor pay. Some people might have the opportunity to get offers from both a CRO and a sponsor, which is fantastic. Other people may never have the opportunity to work at a sponsor, at least in the beginning. Maybe they'll have to take a job at a CRO, or maybe vice versa. So look at the options that come your way, of course, and make a educated decision. But just keep in mind, CROs, sometimes there's a little caveat there to working with them. So looking down here, we'll see a few more companies. So these are the ones we already looked at here, and that's the pay that I mentioned was the median base salary, and these are the ranges here. So pretty much when you're looking at a CRO, they're ranging from the low to mid 60,000 range to low 100,000 range annually. Okay. Let's take a look if I can find a sponsor. I'm not seeing any sponsors located here at this moment. Let's go over to Glassdoor. So Glassdoor, you'll see the median or the average pay is a little bit less. I was able to filter this down to biotech and pharmaceutical companies, so that might have a role into why this changed a bit. But the range is still similar, 47,000 to 86,000, with a median range of 67,000, or an average range of 67,000. Again, additional compensation, that $3,709. That's similar to what we saw on the LinkedIn page, where the annual bonus was around $3,000. So again, those additional compensations are common, so be sure to try to get those. But as we go down here, you'll see some of the same companies again. But there is a sponsor located here, so GSK. GSK is a pretty big sponsor. Pharmaceutical company, and I believe they do some biotech as well. Don't quote me on that. But you'll see here, look at this pay range, 53,000 to 120,000. Okay, that average is 72,000. Now, if you go up here to Inventive Health, you'll see that their average is much higher. Okay, 99,243. But look at their range, 88,000 to 104,000. So if you go in there at 99,000, let's say, you're almost capped, okay, at what you can expect to get at that role. Versus if you went at the sponsor at, let's say, 72,000 here, your pay range is much higher. Okay, so you have the opportunity to go to 120,000, which is fantastic. So I would say room for growth is more available or predominant, whatever the word may be, at a sponsor rather than at a CRO. And take a look up here. Okay, so let's look at all these CROs here. Okay, so 101,000 is the cap. 86,000. This one looks like an outlier. Okay, Northwestern University. That sounds maybe like a site or CRO of some sort. 94,000, 102,000, 101,000. Okay, that's at PRA and Icon respectively. Parexel, 94,000. So it looks like at the CRO level, the cap for this role of being a CRA is capping around 100,000 or the low 100,000 range. The sponsor, though, that we're seeing here is higher, 120,000. Now let's take a look at another sponsor, like Merck right here. Merck, their average is a little bit higher, 75,205 a year. And their range is a little bit better than GSK, 62,000 to 122,000. But look at that. They are both in that $120,000 range, okay? Research Pharmaceutical Services, I'm not familiar with this company, but they look like they have a good range too, 130,000 at the cap for entry-level CRA. Okay, so now again, let me repeat myself. Working at a sponsor versus working as CRO. Obviously, there's pay differences that we can see here, not necessarily in the averages per se, but in the ranges. You can see a difference there. But again, working at a CRO is pretty daunting from what I hear, and it's not probably the best working environment that you could expect to have as being a CRA. Sponsors are, I would say, easier to work at. They're not as demanding. It's a better work-life balance. And they're not necessarily money-driven. They're focused on really getting FDA approval, and they're looking for quality of work, and they're looking for knowledgeable staff members that can help them reach their goals of obtaining the FDA approval and selecting great sites that can do quality work for them. That's what sponsors look for, okay? And it's a completely different mindset than what a CRO is thinking about. CROs are contracted by sponsors to do some of their work, okay? So that can be monitoring, that can be in-house CRA duties, whatever it may be that they're asking them to do. So CROs are looking at billable hours, okay, and they're looking at how much they can charge a sponsor. That is their goal. So the working environment is going to be very different just because of those fundamental differences in their focuses. Okay, so if that makes sense to you guys. Just wanted to show some insight on that. Now let's take a look at different levels of CRA, okay? So CRA 2, okay, let's take a look at this. All right, so CRA 2s, obviously we're seeing a bump here. So from 54,000 to 101,000. Actually, let's see if I can, biotech and pharmaceutical. Okay, oh, even better. All right, so 57,000 to 103,000. and 81,000 average on the salary. Average additional cash compensation, so this would be your bonus, around 4,100, ranging between 1,100 to 12,500. Okay. Now let's take a look down here, see how that changes. For the CROs, we're looking like the range pay has not changed. We're seeing that 91,000, 103,000, 80,000, 102,000. So still capping around the low 100,000s, has not changed for that position. Okay, let's see. Cineo, same thing, 95,000. Abbott. Abbott, I think Abbott is a sponsor. Don't laugh at me, but I think it's a sponsor. 100,000, so not that great there. Sanofi, they're not giving good pay. Oh, this is hourly. So let's take a look at that. $33 to $40 an hour. Let's see what that equals. Okay, so 40, let's take the max, times 40 hours per week, times 52 weeks in a year. Okay, so 83,200, so not too great there. So we're not seeing much of a pay difference between CRA 1 and CRA 2. Okay, so keep that in mind too. So that means that when you come in as a CRA, they might try to keep your pay down, right? They might try to keep it around the $70,000 range, maybe 80,000, to leave room to grow into that $100,000 range. But if you went to a sponsor, you have that bigger gap there, you know, around $120,000, $130,000 max for CRA. So the sponsor might allow you to come in a little bit higher because there's that greater room of growth to get to the 120,000, 130,000. All right. Let's look at CRA 3. Okay. Biotech pharmaceutical. All right. So now we're seeing a higher average as a CRA 3. Okay. So 89,272, which is great. But look at this, low 64,000 has a pretty big bar. So that means a lot of reporting, this salary range here. But that doesn't mean this isn't true. Okay. This is all based on how many employees are reporting their salary to Glassdoor, which aren't going to be that many. Okay. Even though they do keep it private, I think many people are not inclined to do this. But this is based off of what people are reporting, of course. So, again, for CROs, it's looking like their cap is not changing. Okay. It's looking like they're keeping at the low 100,000. And this might have to do with their economics. Okay. With their cost of doing business. Maybe they can't afford to pay too much more than this. This one right here, one employee reported salary, so that's probably not too reliable. So the data, at least that's available to us, is showing that the CROs are not, their pay range is not differentiating between a CRA 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Let's see if we can find a pay range for a sponsor. And let's see if one of these jobs that are posting for CRA say the expected salary range. Okay. Let's see. AbbVie, Senior Clinical Research Associate. Let's see if they have expected pay here. Okay, estimated salary. Look at that. So base salary, 128,000. Okay, total compensation, 133,000 annually. Okay, and look at this range. So base salary from 91,000 to 180,000. And then I guess this is including probably the bonus. Okay, so 91,000 to 204,000. Okay, that's great. That's really good pay. Now this is for a senior CRA. Okay, at AbbVie. Let's take a look at one last factor to consider. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so company size. Now, what we can see here is as the company size changes, okay, so 1,000 to 10,000 employees are paying around $60,000. 1 to 200 employees paying around $65,000. 201 to 1,000 employees paying around $71,000. But look at this. So when they have more than 10,000 employees, they're paying an average $75,000 for a CRA position. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for jobs, is the company size. So when you're speaking with recruiters, it might be a good idea to ask them how big the company is, so you can come to LinkedIn, come to Salary Insights, and look at the expected pay range, average at least, that you can look at. Okay, education level. So looks like MBAs are paid really, really well. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. I am actually working on getting my MBA. I'll have it by the end of this year, so this is good for me to know. MBAs are paid pretty well to the rest of the workforce. Let's see, field of study. So nursing is big, looks like here. Medicine, of course, is a no-brainer. Business administration. So it looks like the top three are going to be your MBA, your medical backgrounds, and your nursing backgrounds. Okay. Now, this is pay by location. So looks like Houston is paying the most. All right. That's kind of surprising to me. I know that there is research out in Texas. There's a lot of companies that are based out of there. Not necessarily just pharmaceutical or biotech companies, but I know that there's a lot of vendors that work in this industry that are based out of Texas. So that might have something to do with this. San Francisco obviously is massive in clinical research, so it's not surprising that it's up here. I actually would think it would be number one, but it's showing here as number two. Let's see, Greater Atlanta, New York City, Minneapolis, Boston. So these are all really around the same kind of pay range, low 70s, high 70s into the 80s. Houston, Texas, though, looks like it takes the cake at $93,600 for that median salary. But you'll see that the pay ranges are all kind of similar, that 40, 50,000 on the low to around 100,000 on the high. But I believe that should give you a good understanding of what to expect when you take a CRA position. I could tell you, though, that working for a sponsor is a really great opportunity, really good career move. There's lots of departments within a sponsor that you can potentially move into. I've seen people move from like R&D to marketing, for instance, at a sponsor. And of course, there's places in a sponsor for so many different professional backgrounds. There's accounting, finance, R&D, law, of course, clinical research. The clinical department is huge. There's so many different career opportunities that you can take once you're working at a sponsor. So if you go in as a CRA at a sponsor, you of course could go into another department down the road if something else interests you. And that's the great thing about working at a sponsor, is having at least that potential opportunity there. Okay. Life and your career moves are all about your different windows of opportunity. Okay. You have to be able to see them and act on them. Okay. You have to always have your eyes open and be aware of these things. And things don't just fall in your lap. Sometimes you have to make them happen. Okay. So if you're looking at these salaries and these don't seem high enough to you, but you're interested in this line of work, then I'd say do it if you're interested in the line of work, but try to make opportunities for yourself along the way. Look to see the playing field once you get into a new job and see what's possible. Okay, see what you can leverage to advance. All right, make good relationships. Of course, that's always key. And working at a sponsor is a great way to make connections, meet some important people, skilled people, knowledgeable people. So in terms of potential opportunity, I would say sponsors take the cake. CROs might, as we can see here, pay less. I've personally have gotten at least potential job offers, not necessarily that I got a job offer, but potential job offers from CROs over the past couple of years that were offering pretty high pay. They were offering around, I want to say 130,000, 140,000 to be a monitor. that required about 75% travel. So typically, if your job position is requiring a lot of travel, they'll typically pay more, but that's not going to be okay with everyone. Traveling 75% of your time, maybe more, on a job might not be suitable for everyone. Okay, that means you may not have you may not be able to have a dog, okay, or maybe just having a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or husband and wife, you know, a significant other, whoever it may be. That may take a huge burden on you to have those relationships. So look at the not only just the pay, okay, look at the work-life balance that's offered, and look at the potential opportunities that would be there, either immediate or down the road, that you could foresee happening. That's how you make a career choice, and that's what should be driving your career decisions. You know, your personal life and your professional life, of course, are going to play a factor, and make a educated decision. Do your research, and of course, remember to hit that like button. Okay, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button, and I hope this was helpful. And leave comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's any other video topics that you would like to see, and I will do my best to do those for you. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for the support. To all my new subscribers and old subscribers, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Bye.